Hello, everyone. Welcome to a brand new episode of Not Aspirational. I'm your host, Hannah Aaron Brown. Welcome back. I'm coming at you from the past. I'm coming at you from June 16th. This is pre-recorded. So by the time you hear this, I will be back from Chicago and I will have tales for you. And I can't wait for that. But today we're doing a Wellness Check Wednesday episode. You wrote in with some amazing questions and I'm really excited to dive into them. So let's get into it. This week's Wellness Check Wednesday theme, by the way, if you're watching on YouTube, I am literally fluorescent and translucent because I am in such desperate need of self-tanner and or a spray tan, but I'm getting a spray tan in Chicago. So in preparation for that, I'm letting my paleness, I'm just sitting in my paleness, both because I don't want my spray tan to compete with the color of any previous self-tanner, and also because when you sit in your ugly longer, it's that much more rewarding when you feel hot again. You heard it here first. Anyways, let's get into this week's Wellness Check Wednesday. The theme for this Wellness Check Wednesday is now and then characters. So if you wrote in, I'm going to keep you anonymous, but you will be assigned the name of a now and then character. So let's dive in. First Wellness Check Wednesday is from Teeny. Teeny needs help with living with your mans and not losing your identity. This is really hard. I'm just going to put that out there right off the bat. I personally struggle with this too, because it's like, you don't want to get into roommate mode with your partner. So spending quality time together at home is important, but also we're all human and we need our alone time sometimes. Sometimes you need a night to just take a long shower, sit in bed, watch a girly pop show, read a girly pop book, and be left the fuck alone. And I think finding this balance can be really hard. But I think the key here is over communicating. So telling your partner, hey, I recommend, I like planning my week. This is just my personality style. So if this doesn't resonate, feel free to leave it, Teeny. But I like to plan out my week, look at my Google Calendar. Jake and I have a shared Google Calendar, and then I have a personal Google Calendar, which might be insanely type A for some of y'all, which I totally understand. But I will say, having a shared couples Google Calendar is helpful if you're both down to use it, because you know what the other person's doing. You don't have to repeat yourself a million times. And you could literally put on the shared Google Calendar, I'm having alone time. And obviously don't do that passive aggressively. Tell your partner, hey, Monday night, I really think I just need a girls' night with myself, just giving you a heads up. And then similarly, you could also be hey, babe, that show we both is out on Wednesday night. Do you want to get a bottle of wine and watch it together? So I think over communication is your friend. And I think putting the same amount of effort into your alone time / friend time as you do into your time with your partner is the key. And finding that balance can be really fucking hard, because I recently in LA, I feel this year, I feel in LA, I finally have a good swath of friends where I just feel these are really aligned friendships. I can relax. I'm not forcing anything. I can just fully be present and have fun in these friendships. And that being said, I've had this impulse to I just want friend time. I'm so fucking excited, and I've lived here for 7 years, and I felt such a void as far as having a lot of people that I could hang out with. And I had a lot of friendships out here that were trial and error. So now that I have good ones, I'm oh my God, I want to do friend stuff. But I need to be cognizant of I don't want Jake to feel left out. So I think it is just telling your partner what you need. And before you tell your partner, checking in with yourself and being what do I need? Am I in desperate need of a girls' night? Do I need alone time? Do I need a date night with my partner? Are things feeling a little too roommatey? And should we put a proper date on our shared Google Calendar? That's totally fair. So check in with yourself, feel into what it is you need, and then just be direct with your partner. And a confident individual will not be threatened by any of this. It's not you never want to see your partner again. It's not every night needs to be alone time. It's not every weekend needs to be a girls' weekend. But I do think the thing that partners need to remember when we ask for alone time and or girl time is that it ultimately benefits the whole relationship. Thus, it benefits them because it feels really good to miss your partner. It feels good to have space from them so that you have stuff to update each other on, stories to tell. And when you live together, some of that like mystery and some of that space is automatically gone because you see each other all the time. So if your partner gives you pushback, which I hope they don't, and I don't know why they would, it's also okay to be like, hey, everyone wins in this scenario because when I have my alone time, I'm more excited to see you. And when I'm more excited to see you, like everyone wants to feel appreciated and seen and loved in their relationship. And even though it feels counterintuitive, space is required for that to effectively happen. So Teeny, those are my thoughts. I hope that's helpful. My boyfriend has been unemployed for, this next question is from Crazy Pete. I was honestly just dying to find the most obscure character from now and then that I could find. So I'm sorry. I don't think you're crazy, but today you are Crazy Pete. Crazy Pete wrote in and said, my boyfriend has been unemployed for most of our 6-month relationship and I'm struggling. Okay, 6 months is not that long, but I completely get it. Jake and I have both been the person who's unemployed at different points in our relationship, and it does put a strain on things. And this relationship is pretty young, so you don't necessarily have like years of a foundation to kind of rest on right now, to like rely on right now. But I think, okay, I don't know how he's handling the unemployment because guys are a different animal. Like some guys get really angry, some guys get really lazy, some guys get really like sensitive and like emo. And like I will say, like the patriarchy at large like is annoying, and I feel like for men it is very emasculating to be unemployed. I think the best thing you can do is be positive. And also like I think also sometimes like if he's on this like feed loop where he's constantly talking about job stuff, I think it's also okay to like, what is my advice on this? I think the first thing I would advise you to do is to check in with yourself really quick and be like, what am I struggling with right now? Is it the fact that he's not making money? Is it the fact that he has a lot of time on his hands and he expects me to fill it all the time and it's too much pressure? Is it that he's constantly like negative and complaining? I think once you can kind of zero in on what it is about this situation that's like making you struggle, you can come up with a game plan. So if he's constantly like negative and spiraling about it, I think it's fair at a certain point. I don't know how long he's been unemployed for, but I think it's fair to say, like, I would come at it from this very like open-minded, loving place of like, hey, listen, I know that this is so scary right now. I totally get it, but I genuinely believe that the right thing is going to find you. And I think that when you come at the job market from a place of like ease and trust, amazing things can happen. So let's just like try and have some fun and shake this energy up a little, and then maybe come up with like a fun, cheap date idea. Like, let's go get a piece of pizza. Let's go have a picnic. Let's binge watch every, I don't know, Wes Anderson movie, whatever filmmaker you guys like. Just something like that to like get his mind off things, you know? And I think it's fair to be like, hey, it seems like this is taking a toll on you and I completely understand why. Let's try and like have some fun, shake shit up a little, and just like be silly geese together. And hopefully he's responsive to that, because it's like, to me, that's a very different conversation than like, hey, babe, love you, but you've been such a fucking bummer. I think coming at it from this loving place of like, hey, I want to solve this problem for you. I completely understand where you're coming from, but like we're not dating that long. We're still technically in the honeymoon phase. Like, let's have some fun. Let's take the air out of things. Like, let's just kind of put unemployment over here for now, which again, easier said than done. Okay. This is a tough situation. So that's if he's negative. If it's the money thing, that's kind of like, I completely understand that, because at the end of the day, it's nice to feel taken care of. It's nice to have someone be able to take you to dinner. It's nice to have someone be able to be like, I got it. Like, whether it's an Uber or a meal, whatever. It's nice to have someone come up with a date idea and plan the whole evening, and then you don't have to pay for a fucking thing. I totally get that. And again, this is a young relationship. I would say just remember it will not be like this forever. And if you are really, really into this guy, I would say wait it out and just remember that it's temporary. And I think like making it a group effort of like, what's something creative? Like, let's get creative with date ideas so that, like we can still have fun without the financial stress. I think it's an opportunity to get creative together and to figure out like what fun looks like for you. Because when you're with the right person, you could be at like the DMV and have a good time. You know what I mean? So I think just offering encouragement and being down to sort of collaborate on ideas of like fun, cheap ways that you can spend time together is good. And then also like, it's okay to take a little bit of space too. You're only 6 months in. And if every time you hang out, he's like Bummerville, USA about the financial stuff, which again, that's like not a dig. I think it's completely real and valid. It's also okay to be like, hey, I need some friend time right now, or I need some alone time, because that energy, while it's no one's fault, it can be draining to be around. And for you to show up in this new relationship as the best version of yourself, it's also important that you prioritize like your own feelings and your own space, and don't feel guilty about like going shopping or spending a little money and like getting yourself an $8 coffee on a Friday if you want one. You know what I mean? So I think taking a little bit of space too, and not being in this kind of like negativity thought loop with him will enable you and empower you to support him more. Again, like our last question from Teeny, it's counterintuitive to take space from someone, especially your partner, when they're like going through it. But it's early in your relationship. It's only been 6 months. Like, shake it off a little. It's going to be okay. And like, best case scenario, he gets a job. Everything's fine. You guys get married. This is your guy. Worst case scenario, regardless of what happens with the job, this isn't your guy. Oh, well, we shrug our shoulders, we get drinks with girlfriends, and we keep it moving. You know what I mean? Either way, you're going to be okay. And don't feel guilty. Another thing, do not feel guilty for any of these feelings you're having, because it is fucking hard, because you want to be supportive, and you know that this is a sensitive topic, and you know that it's really scary, especially in this economy, to like not have a job. Like, all those things can be true. And also you can be a little bit like, kind of sucks that I'm in this like new relationship and things should be sexy and easy breezy, and they're not because my boyfriend's unemployed, and that sucks for both of us. Like, that's all fair. Okay. Hang in there, Crazy Pete. I love you, girl. Next, we have a wellness check Wednesday from Sam. Sam says, I'm not doing well. I've gained 20 pounds in the past year. I don't feel like myself, and I did nothing. Women BS. Being a woman is so fucking annoying. And if I'm being fully transparent with you, I gained a couple of LBs this summer that no matter what I do, they won't go anywhere. They're just hanging out. And I'm like, okay. And am I spiraling a little? Yes, I am. And I'm sorry if that's triggering to say, but I have spiraled. So I completely understand this. And it could be a variety of things. Hormones, stress. Everyone's like, cortisol. And I'm like, but you yelling at me about my high cortisol is making my cortisol go up. So like, zip it. Okay. Zip it. And not feeling like yourself, and not feeling, I don't know, like not feeling like you're in control of your own body, like really fucking sucks and can bring up a lot, especially for women. So I just want to like hold space for you in that. I would say, I was recently telling one of my friends this, you cannot punish yourself into a body you love. Like, you just can't. So I don't even want to be like, you're going to get up every day and you're going to do 10,000 steps and you're going to drink all this water and you're only going to eat chicken. I don't think that's helpful. I will say, if you can, go to a doctor, talk about hormonal stuff, like get your hormones tested, and feel free to get a second opinion. Like, I have friends who swear by like holistic doctors, especially for hormone stuff, because unfortunately in our fucked up medical system, a lot of things are not studied on women. A lot of data out there is based on the male experience and not women's experiences. So I think getting a second opinion and finding a doctor who can like test you out for certain hormonal things to see what's going on, I think that will really empower you. Because health stuff is so anxiety inducing. And again, feeling like something's going on with your body and you don't know why, like that's really stressful. So I think finding a doctor and getting some answers that makes sense to you will be really empowering and cool. And it's also, that's an act of self-care on its own. Okay. And I think so often we think of self-care as like, yeah, all the hot girl things on TikTok, like 10,000 steps a day and 80 ounces of water and not eating carbs after 7 o'clock or whatever the fuck. And I think like going to the doctor is like the most important self-care ever. And I think people forget that like going to the doctor is like such an important form of self-care because you are entitled to have answers about your own body. And other than that, I think this is going to sound really woo-woo, and I hope it doesn't come off as like condescending and annoying because I like truly mean this from my heart as someone who's been 50 different sizes in my life. I think the nicest thing you can do to yourself is just speak positively about yourself. And I know that that's a lot easier said than done. Trust me. Like I still have body shit that I struggle with, if I'm being fully honest. And part of why I love cooking so much is because before, when I was younger and I would eat healthy, I would eat the blandest, most disgusting shit. And now I'm trying to show myself every day that eating at home and eating healthy can be fun and enjoyable and enrich my life, you know? But enough about me. But I think just like speaking to yourself in a positive way and coming at like any sort of health stuff. And again, I'm not talking about the number on the scale. I'm just talking about like how you feel. I think coming at that from this place of this is a gift to myself and I like this versus I have to do this to get this result. Otherwise, I'm a piece of shit and I'm a loser. Like the way your body internalizes those different types of thought patterns is so profound. I think, again, especially on women, like I was never able to sustain any sort of healthy lifestyle when I was super psycho about like, oh, I need to do this to get this result. And if I don't, I'm a failure and I'm weak and I'm this. It's like, I think I'm the healthiest I've ever been now. It's not the lowest the scale's ever been, but I think I'm the healthiest I've ever been now because like I do shit in a way that's like sustainable for me. And like one day I'm chugging beers and eating fries and the next day I'm eating a salad. So it's all balanced. But yeah, as far as wellness goes in general, I would say just say nice shit to yourself. Prioritize what feels good, whether that's rest, whether that's movement, whether that's journaling, whatever. And I think it'll all work itself out. I really do. And I know that body stuff is a touchy subject. And I hope that I spoke eloquently about it because I want to be careful with this type of topic, both for you, Sam, and for all the listeners. But that's how I feel about it. And if I sound like an idiot, you guys, just let me know. Okay. Chrissy asked, why do I always offer things I regret later, dog sitting, etc.? Chrissy, I feel this, and it's because you are, say it with me, a people pleaser. So, as someone who's actively working on this, what I want you to think about is, let's play this out. When you say yes to something that you really want to say no to, let's just use dog sitting as the example. Your fucking coworker who might, you know, eat your snacks in the employee fridge comes to you and they're like, hey, oh my God, Chrissy, I need a dog sitter. And my dog he gets so scared by himself and I need you to do this for me and please. And you're Chrissy, you're a nice person. So you're like, okay, shit. Like she's like, can you dog sit my dog this weekend? And you, Chrissy, are like, oh, I actually have a really busy weekend. I have, you know, this dinner and then I have this family thing and that's going to be a lot for me. And then you're like, yeah, I can do it. I want you to just think about what is the worst thing that would happen if you told your coworker, let's call her Bud, B-U-D. If you told your coworker, Bud, I'm so sorry, that sucks. I can't swing it. What would happen? And I know that thinking about doing that is really anxiety inducing, especially if Bud's talking to you to your face. Bud's like over by the coffee fridge in the employee kitchen. He's like, come on, please. But let's just say you're like, Bud, I totally feel you. I can't do that, but good luck. Do you think Bud's going to like yell at you? And even if Bud was like, well, you really should do this for me, Chrissy, because I'm a really good coworker to you. And maybe I do eat your snacks sometimes, but that's beside the point. Dog sit for me. You can say, as I said before, Bud, it's not going to work out this time, but again, good luck. The worst thing that can happen when you say no to something is someone is mad at you. And I just had a friend talk to me about some of my people-pleasing stuff, and her therapist taught her this acronym called FOG, fear, obligation, or guilt. If you are saying yes to something from a place of fog, fear, obligation, or guilt, it's not something you should say yes to. And if someone thinks that you are an asshole because you can't do something that they want you to do, that is their problem. And this is where let them. This is where let them comes into play, okay? Because you are not going to lose sleep at night over the fact that you said no to dog sitting for Bud. You are going to lose sleep at night for saying yes to dog sitting for Bud because you're going to be like, fuck, I really needed this weekend to be fun for me. I've been going through a lot. I wanted to blow off some steam, have fun at that dinner, see my family, and now I have to run around and bust my ass because of Bud. And Bud gets to just like go on vacation to Door County. And that really sucks. That's annoying. You're going to spiral a lot more about that than like a weird 5-minute interaction with Bud where he's like kind of a dick to you. And if Bud's like, oh my God, Chrissy's such a bitch, like she wouldn't dog sit for me, your coworkers are going to be like, losery. That's really losery of you, Bud. She couldn't dog sit. Like, what the fuck is your problem, Bud? Maybe you should hire a dog sitter. Like, maybe you should plan better, Bud, if you want to go to Door County so badly. So that's how I feel. So, long story longer. When you are saying yes or no to something, be like, is this coming from a place of fog? And then when you get really anxious about like saying no, just remember the worst thing that could happen is someone gets mad at you. And again, if someone gets mad at you for setting a boundary that is healthy for you, fuck them, let them, and fuck them. Okay? Love you, Chrissy. Hang in there. Ooh, okay, this is a heavier one. And because of that, it's from Roberta. Okay, Roberta wrote in and she said, Roberta wrote in and said, I fear it's becoming more and more clear my relationship is over. Okay, I'm just laughing at the name Roberta. I'm so sorry. I'm not laughing at you. Her character is just so dark and stormy, and I feel like I'm allowed to say that because I also have a dead mom. Okay, I'm so sorry. There is truly nothing more, I don't know, just like sad and stressful than knowing that a relationship is on its way out. And I don't know the details of your relationship. I don't know how long you've been together, but either way, it's the end of a chapter. And there was a time in your life where this relationship worked and where you guys were happy together. And it's really heartbreaking to accept that like things aren't the same anymore and they might never be. And it's time to move on. What I will tell you as someone who, I can't say I've had a lot of breakups because not that many people wanted to date me, but as someone who's thought a lot of people were my soulmate and then it did not work out and it in fact crashed and burned, I will say the best is always yet to come. Breakups happen for a reason. And it's completely understandable that if this breakup does happen, if your relationship ends, there's going to be a period where you are grieving that relationship. You're fucking sad. You might simultaneously know that's not my person and this had to happen, and also be really fucking sad and miss them a lot and think back to all the good times you had. It does feel like a death. So like it's okay to take time to grieve that. And it seems like you're grieving things. There is like, you start that grieving process before the relationship is officially over. It feels like that's where you're at right now. And that's all valid. But once that initial shock of like, what the fuck am I going to do? Who am I without this person? Once that wears off, which it will, and it might wear off faster than you think, you are going to feel so free. You're going to feel so light. You're going to feel so amazing because the most powerful lesson that you can learn in this life, I think especially as a woman, but probably just as a person, I don't know, is when you realize that you would rather be lonely but at peace than with someone and have it suck. The second I realized that, I had a great fucking time. I'm like, I don't have to check in with anyone. If I want to go out on a Tuesday night for dollar oysters with my book, have a couple beers, I fucking will. I'm the main character. I call the shots. You fuck with my peace. You're not welcome in my space. It is such an empowering place to be. And I know that when you've been in a relationship for a while, the thought of being alone is scary. But truly, that's what friends are for. That's what family is for. You do not have to rush into dating. You don't have to do fucking anything you don't want to. You just take this time, if this relationship ends, to take a deep breath, like recalibrate, lean on your friends, lean on your family, enjoy your alone time, enjoy friend time. Have lots and lots of friend and family time if that's what you need right now. That's totally fine. But I think if this is how you're feeling, there is no world in which you're going to regret it down the road. I promise you. There will be the initial shock. There will be some sadness, some grief, some fear, all that. And then the other side of that is, baby, the best is yet to come. You're going to feel incredible. You're going to feel so hot. You're going to feel so sexy. You're going to feel so free. You're going to have a blast. Okay. So Roberta, babe, I love you. I'm thinking of you. It's going to be okay. And do things in whatever time you have to. And hey, you're also allowed to change your mind. If you and your partner go, actually, just kidding, we're going to go to couples therapy and figure this out, great. But if you decide that this relationship isn't for you, the best is yet to come, okay? You won't regret it. Okay, last one for this Wellness Check Wednesday. What other characters from now and then are there? Scott Wormer. Scott Wormer. Oh, King icon legend Scott Wormer. Hannah, please, comparison is the theme of my life. How do I stop? This is hard, and I still struggle with it. And I was actually recently talking to some friends about this, how we just need to normalize being jealous. Like, it's a human emotion, and there's so much like ickiness and shame around it, and I just don't think there has to be. So normalize being jealous. Be like, okay, I'm comparing myself to this person because they have something that I want, and I wish I had it. Okay. Take the judgment away. Take the shame away. Fine. You're a human being. Congratulations. You have not been taken over by AI. Yay. Yay. So moving on from there. 2 things that helped me with this. 1, I had a friend once tell me this and it really helped. She was like, imagine if you switch lives with someone who has something that you want, someone you're comparing yourself to. If you switch lives with them, you would inherit every other thing that person has, not just that one thing that you want, but everything, every trauma, every fear, every insecurity. And if you really stop to think about who you're comparing yourself to, and you're like, would I be willing to give up everything in my life to have everything they have in their life, good and bad? I promise you'll be like, no. It's kind of like a little It's a Wonderful Life, like mind fuck that you can do with yourself, where you're like, no, yes, I don't have that one thing that that person has, but I have a lot of other shit and a lot of other people in my life that I really love, that I'm really proud of, that I'm really passionate about. And I'd rather be me. It's very like Disney Channel. Be like, at the end of the day, I'd rather be me. But it's true. It's true. So that's helpful. Also, when I got really into manifestation in 2020 to be magnetic, they talk about people called expanders, and these people are put in your path to show you what's possible. And sometimes when I'm comparing myself to someone, I try to like flip that thought into, oh, this might just be an expander. Like, this is someone who's been put in my path to show me what's possible for me. And especially with acting stuff, like this is my experience a lot. It's like with acting stuff, I'll see people that I like did like a commercial workshop with 5 years ago, booking all the fucking time. Or some girl who was like fucking rude to me in acting class 7 years ago on every TV show. And I'm like, sometimes I get in a mood where it's like Arthur meme fist, and I'm like, she's everywhere. But also, it's like, if that girl who was in the same acting class as me is killing it right now, who's to say that I'm not going to be killing it at some point? It could be next year. So even though seeing people have the things you want can be challenging, I think it's also a really great litmus test for yourself to be like, okay, they have something I want and they're showing me that it's possible for me. And also, like, this jealousy that's coming up, this comparison that's coming up is just like data for me. It's an indicator of like how badly I want this thing. And then from there, you can tap into the energy of that and be like, what would it feel like if I had this thing? And then if you want to get really granular, Scott Wormer, you could say, do I want this thing because my heart wants it or because my ego wants it and I want to prove something to other people? So once you kind of figure out what it is you're comparing yourself to, what it is you want, you can peel back the layers of like, what am I feeling and where's this coming from? And would I be comparing myself to this person if maybe their job wasn't so cool, or if they didn't have such nice hair, or if they didn't have such a fucking hot husband? Like, I think asking yourself questions and peeling back the layers will give you a better idea of like where that comparison energy is coming from and allow you to handle it accordingly. And then once you figure out like what it is that you want, why you're comparing yourself, etc., you can work on like those wounds within yourself, like shadow work, inner child stuff, etc. Now I'm getting really woo-woo. And also you can take aligned action towards that thing that you want, you know? And if they have it, why not you? Hello? And then if you're comparing yourself in terms of like surface level things, like, oh, that girl has like great tits, or like, you know, I always look at girls who have abs because that has never and will never be my journey. You know, if it's stuff like that, just remember the internet's a lie, and the internet's a lie. Plastic surgery is real. Facetune app is real. Nothing is real. And continue to vibe, because everyone on the internet's respectfully full of shit. Okay, Scott Wormer, I hope that is helpful. That answer was a little bit all over the place. I also realized I didn't have a grow up prepared for today, but I'm going to conjure one up out of nowhere. And here's mine for today. Grow up, straight men who make inappropriate jokes at a woman's expense, okay? I just had a friend go through something where she was on a date with a guy, and like he was kind of a weirdo, but she was nice enough to text him the next day, and he made a fucking weird joke to her, and it made her really uncomfortable. And she said, hey, that made me uncomfortable. And he just continued to double down on his creepy joke. And guess what? He never got a date with my friend again. So I'm going to say, if you are a man in this world, a straight man, let's be specific, okay? Okay? If you're a straight man in this world, and you're making fucking creepy, weird, obnoxious, strange, crass, odd jokes to a woman, grow up. Grow up. And I'm so sorry. My nails look so awesome in the camera right now. Okay, sorry. I got distracted. And if you're a straight man who made a joke that didn't land, and a woman tells you, hey, I didn't like that joke, that made me uncomfortable, you fucking apologize. You be a gentleman. You say, I am so sorry. That was not cool of me. I did not intend that way. I apologize. Grow up. I feel like grow up is kind of in like a dark and stormy era right now, where my grow ups are getting kind of like, they're getting kind of intense. But again, that's just indicative of the world we live in right now. But hopefully I'll find some levity in Chicago, and I can come back from my trip with some silly, goofy grow ups. Y'all, that's it for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you're loving the show. If you love it, send it to a friend, leave a rating and a review. Say hi on Spotify in the comments. Leave me a YouTube comment. DM me. Whatever. And thank you all for writing in. I hope that the advice was helpful. If you have any questions or need anything else, you know my DMs are always open. I love y'all. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you soon. Bye.